What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. In this video, I was going to make this video about this. I made like a burrowing robot spider thing. Basically, he chooses three possible paths in front of him in like 15-degree angles, and then he just picks one at random, and then he goes with these dots. Will obviously not be drawn when he's actually in or whatever. I think he's really cool, and it makes it a little bit hard to dodge, and also the effects look really cool as well. Like he digs, and he's got like this little like burrowing path, and he goes in, he's invisible. Also, the outline script disappears while he goes under the ground, which is a little bit more complicated than one might think. But yeah, that's gonna have to be the next video, because I got this comment on one of my previous videos about making a boss health bar. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can add a health bar to your bosses. Alright, so here we go. So I've already added a user interface to my game. So if you're just adding a boss health bar to your project, if you just right click in the open space, you can click UI and create a panel. I'm not going to do that because I already have a canvas here, so I'm just going to put it inside of the canvas. If you click UI, image, or panel, and let's do image, and we'll call this health bar. If you didn't create the canvas first, it will automatically create a canvas for you. If it creates the canvas, on the right side, there's a canvas scaler. Change it from constant to scale with screen size, and then just change these numbers to match your screen size. So I'm using a 1920 by 1080 monitor, but you could be using a different size. So just pick the size that is the same as your monitor. So then from there, if you, inside of the scene view, if you click the 2D button, this will get like a straight side view. And you can use this to edit this. So if you scroll up far enough, you can kind of see like all of the different user interface elements that I already have. And you can see that this image got put right in the center of the screen. So you want to put this in a spot where you want your health bar to be. So for me, that could be like the bottom in the center. And I just want to make sure that, I think it's this bottom line here. Let me just click on the canvas. So if you click on the canvas, you can get like an outline of like how big your canvas is and stuff like that. And so let's move the health bar right down to very close to the bottom. And we're going to make the locking to be the bottom. So if you click on this is where it's locked to on the screen. If you hold Control and Shift, you get these little dots. And we'll just double click on the bottom middle one. So the position X is -50. Let's just change that to 0. That will make it dead center in the middle of the screen. Position Y, let's make it an even number of 10. And so the height and width are 100 and 100. So we need to make the width like, I don't know, like 800 or something. And then the height can be like 80. So this is like a 10 to 10. And then let's just make the background black for now. I think black looks pretty cool. And we're going to be adding a design to this at a later time. But for right now, we're just going to use this for the temporary health bar. So it's going to be black and it will be affected by the thing. Okay, so in order to edit like the percentage filled of like this bar, we have to do this. We can do this directly from the UI. So the option here inside of image, there's actually a fill amount here, but you can't see it because it doesn't... for some reason, it's not part of like it doesn't show all of the properties. It only shows some of them. So if you click debug mode here, you can choose some settings. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to pick this UI sprite for right now. We're going to be doing an actual image. So we're not going to be using this. This is just for a demonstration to show you how it's working. So if you change this to filled, and then you change this from radial to horizontal, and you change the fill amount, you can see that it erases part of the bar as like the health bar. So if you want, you could leave it like this. I mean, it's fine, but we're going to be actually doing a drawing. Okay, and the second part of this is that we need to have a text in the middle of this. So if we right click here, we can do UI, Text Mesh Pro is fine. And then we'll just call this boss name. And so this needs to be dead center in this. So if we click on... Oh, I've got this stupid debug mode. Hang on, let me just turn that off. If you hold Control Shift and click this bottom one, this will stretch it to the thing, and then you can just hit 0 across the thing. So this stretches it to the outer element. And then what we want to do is we want to take the text and align it to the middle and the center. This will make the boss name appear directly in the middle and stretch out. So let's just call Mr. Trainman is one of the bosses. Or he could be, I don't know what his actual name is. I didn't really name the bosses. So you can see the default text for this is like hideous. So it's using Liberation Sans. So we're not going to use that. I have a different one that I already got from the internet, which is the Pixel emulator. I'm just going to copy it over here. Fonts are not too big. And then if you right click, so you could download this from the internet, go on Google, type in Pixel Emulator, download it, just drag it into your game. If you right click this, you can click create, and then we'll do Text Mesh Pro font asset. And then so from here, you can drag this font asset into this slot. And this just gives you like a better looking thing. And this actually looks pretty good. I mean, I don't mind it too much. And then maybe we could have this like flash red or something when he gets hit, or something along those lines. But okay, so this is, I kind of set up the code and then I came back. So if we go into the boss room, you can see that the name is just going by the name of the actual game object. So I'm going to have to update the... Okay, so like I was saying, I've got to update the name of the thing. So you can see when I'm hitting him, the bar is getting lowered on the right. And so there's a lot of ways you can add health bars. You could do like a radial one as well. Like there's a radial fill that will automatically fill it radial. I'll show you that in a second as well. But you can see this is pretty good. I mean, you might want to make the boss bar red instead of black, or like have some type of like background or something like that. And I'm going to show you the code right as soon as I'm done this. All right, so this is the code. And remember, this is an enemy base class. So we're using this for all of our enemies. We've added things like a Boolean value to determine whether it's a boss or not. So if you go into the actual boss rooms and you click on all of the bosses, like for example, this is the bird boss. You need to go in and find the boss checkbox and turn it on. We need to know whether it's a boss or not because we don't want a progress bar to pop up on all of our enemies. We only want it for bosses. So in the start menu, or the start method, we've created this variable called max health. We didn't actually have a max health before. The way that it was working is like if it had 3 health, he would just lose health, and then when he had 0, he would die. But now we actually need the max health because we want to do a calculation of the health divided by the max health to get a number between 0 and 1, which is how full the progress bar or the fill amount is, which you can see here. So at the start of this, we're just setting the max health to be the health. We're getting the boss health bar from the canvas. So because this health bar is disabled by default, you can't just get boss health by default. You have to get the canvas and then use the transform of the canvas to get the boss health. If you try to get boss health, because it's disabled, you can't. Game object.find only finds enabled objects. It doesn't find things that are disactivated. Okay, and here we're setting the boss name to be the transform name. This is actually not going to work. So we're just going to create a public string and we'll call it boss name. And the boss name is just going to be default by default. And so we'll set this to be boss name because I've named my bosses. The transforms are named stupid things. So like if you look on the left here, my birdie boss, for example, like the train boss is named birdie-boss.2024.08.09. I don't want to go through and rename that. So also like the bones inside of this have their own names, and then the animations are using the bone names, so you can't change it there. So like, for example, this one, we will call this Mr. Train Man. And you could go through all of the bosses and like Mark Carney and Demon, or you could name him something if you want to. It doesn't matter, right? So we'll just name it boss name like that. Where if it's not a boss, we're turning off the boss bar. So this might have to change. So this area, this whole section might have to change because we might actually have bosses that have enemies that are walking around, or maybe we'll have like a zombie boss. It spawns other zombies. So we might actually have to not do this because there's only 1 health bar on the screen. So if we spawn the boss and the enemies spawn after the boss and it finds out that it's not a boss, then it might turn off the boss health bar. So we don't want that. So this is probably gonna have to change. But so yeah. So anyway, so in if it's a boss, then we're gonna set the fill amount, which is what I showed you at the beginning. So we're setting the fill amount to be the health divided by the max health. So for example, if the boss has 3 health and the max health is 3, it will be 1, and the bar will be full. And if the health is 1 and it's 3, then it'll be like 33%. So it'll be like percentage based. It's a pretty simple calculation. So then in order to call this method, inside of our spell script, this is actually where we're damaging our enemy. So there's 2 ways we are damaging enemies. We're doing on collision enter, or we're doing on trigger enter. So after we subtract the health from the enemy, we can call this update boss health method from there. And it just checks if it's a boss, then it will update the health bar. And then if not, it won't. So that's pretty much it for like a basic health bar, and now we need to make it look cooler. Okay, so as you know, we made our UI. This UI piece is 800 by 80, so 800 width by 80 in height. So here I'm in Sketchbook. This is a free application. You could just download it from the internet, Autodesk Sketchbook. So let's go to the image size, and we're going to make it exactly the same as the size of our health bar. So then this is the size of the health bar inside of the game. So we're just going to turn off the background. And so then we're going to turn on this symmetry options, and we'll do the top one and the right one. So we probably want a white background to start. So let's go ahead and use the fill tool and fill the whole thing white. And then what we'll do is we will get something like this airbrush, turn down the flow to like 18 or something, turn on the erase brush, so we're erasing the background. Let's turn the background actually back on for a sec and make it black so that we can see what we're erasing, because this is in the game when we're fighting the boss, a lot of the bosses are going to have like a black thing below it. So like, for example, when we're in the room with like Mark Carney at the very bottom, there's like a black area, so there's going to be a black background. So if we do this, oh sorry, we have to turn the symmetry back on. If we do this, you can see that it erases it from everywhere all at once. And so then we can have like a kind of health bar that's like more like this instead. That's like, so the black areas are going to be transparent, but the other areas are not going to be transparent. So we could do something like this and it might look really cool. And then like at the ends, we could also do this. So we're just going to leave it white. If you want in the game, you could change the color to red and that will change it to red. So we're going to leave it to, as white for now. Yeah, maybe white with the black text is better. I don't know, I think that looks okay. Let's go fight the boss and see how that looks. Okay, so now we just have like this basic kind of white looking health bar at the bottom. You know what we need to do? We need to make it flash red every time he gets hit over like a 1 second period. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so in the code here, if we go to the enemy, we want to create another enumerator. Flash health bar. And so we'll yield return new wait for seconds. And then so we just want to, so not like this. So we just need to do for int I is equal to 0. I is less than, let's make it 1. I is less than 30 plus plus I. And then so inside of here, we'll wait for 0.1 seconds. And so the color will be color.lerp. So linear interpolation. So we're going to lerp between two colors. So it's going to be white, which is the color that it is right now, and then red. And then the amount is going to be, so the time is a number between 0 and 1. So because we're doing i's between 1 and 30, we just need to do I divided by 29 or I divided by 30, but this needs to be less than equal. And so then after this is done, so then we need to do the same thing. So I is equal to 30, I is greater than equal to 0 or 1, and red to white. And then after this is done, we should set the color back to white. Okay, so if it's a boss and it gets hit here, then we're going to start this coroutine flash health bar. But we want to stop the coroutine first. So if it's already running, we don't want this to be running over top of each other. So like if one of them's flashing it and changing it to whatever, if we hit him twice really fast, like what if our attack speed's really quickly? We don't want this running two of these same enumerators at the same time. This should make his health bar flash. So let's go find the boss again and see if it does. So we've got the demon boss here. You hit him. It's not... well, oh, it is flashing. I saw it go red for a second there. Okay, and the problem is that because we're stopping the coroutine, it's actually setting it back to white right away when we hit him again. And so 30 iterations at 0.1, a tenth of a second per iteration. That means that every 10 of these is 1 entire second. So it takes 3 entire seconds to go red. So that's not going to work. So we want this to be maybe 0.01 and then 0.01 going back as well. Yeah, because it's just taking too long. And so let me just read this. So for int I is 1, I is less than 30, and we're incrementing I here. We need to decrement I here instead. All right, let's go find the boss again. So we got the demon. You hit him. You can see it flashing. Hang on. See, that takes way too long to turn red. It's like he takes the damage and then like, all right, let's do this a different way. I think this is not really working how we want it to. So instead of this enumerator here, we don't really need that at all. And we don't need this, and we don't need this. What we're going to do is we're just going to create an animation for taking damage on the actual health bar itself. So let's re-enable the health bar. So I'm just going to create an animation for the health bar here at the bottom. We'll call this boss damage animation. So then if you click record on this, you can click boss health. And so we're just going to make the width go bigger. Wait. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's delete this. I didn't have it selected. That was the problem. And let's delete the animator as well. So let's click boss health and click create. Boss damage. And so we'll click record, and we just want to make this go to like 850 or it's like a zoom in effect, right? So maybe 849, whatever, and 100. Okay, no, wait. We want this to be the default frame. So we want this to happen at like 10 or something. So bigger. And then we could copy this one and paste it here. So it just goes boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. So right here as well, because we're just using a standard color, we can change the color of the health bar to red. And you could maybe make this like pink or something instead of like such a dark red. And then so here it would go back to white, and we would want this to be white as well, so it gets bigger and it goes down. Nah, it needs to be all the way red. Let's make it dark red. Let's do it. It's kind of cool. What if we rotate it just slightly as well? Like, what if we do like X rotation or something? No, not X rotation. That's the wrong rotation. Y rotation? No. Nah, because then it goes off the screen. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of cool. So let's stop recording. And the only thing is we just need to put this further off the bottom so that's not touching. So that when it does the animation, like the part that's off the screen is minimized in the bottom left there. And in fact, I think it should even be like a little bit further up. So let's do 90. So like it can grow the full and you can kind of see it. I think this rotation is just slightly too much, maybe. So let's just do like 1. It should just be very, very slight. No, we want to change the rotation to 1. And then the actual position, we can put it back to whatever we can get away with where it's just touching the bottom. So it's like boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's save this. So the animator should be enabled by default, but the controller should not play this by default. We should create another empty state, set this one as the default. And so okay, so and then when we take damage here, we can call this. So we need to get the animator as part of this. So we'll just do private animator A. Right at the beginning here, we can find the animator. Like this, and then we can call a.play and what was it, boss damage, I think I called it, or something. So we'll play this, and then after it's done, we should make a transition back to this and just set the exit time to 1 and the transition duration to 0. Okay, so now we can turn this off and we'll press play. We just need to go find the boss again, and so there should be the animation now. So. Okay, here we go. I only have 1 health, so hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate this. So you can see when I hit the demon now at the bottom, his health just kind of flashes and does like this cool animation. I think it looks pretty sweet. Let me see if I can kill him. I'm just going to go into God mode so I don't die. Yeah, so you kill him, the health bar disappears. You probably need to reset the health percentage to full when you spawn the boss. So like if we do 2 bosses in a row right now, I bet that the health bar will not be back to full. So like for example, if you go into the UI and you turn the health bar back on, you can see that the bar is already empty, so you need to reset that. Let me just do that really quickly. So it's the image. Where is it? All right, so I mean, that's going to be it for the day. The entire project is available for download for free in the description of the video. That'll include everything we just added here. I'm also going to post the game as well, so if you just want to play the game and you don't want to download the entire project and you just enjoy seeing like some updates and stuff like that, you're welcome to do that. And if you guys are enjoying the series, make sure you like my video and subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.